Welcome back to What She Said Sports. It's the nighttime edition. All right. So tonight, as I discussed earlier, we are going to look into the NFL journey of Daunte Culpepper. So I did a lot of the legwork. I'm going to talk about the key takeaways and observations and the things that I noticed. And yes, his story is somewhat similar. So why are we discussing this? If you're new to it, we are profiling Black quarterbacks. And we started with Doug Williams, then followed by Warren Moon. And then we moved on to Tyrod Taylor and Vince Young, Michael Vick, and now Daunte Culpepper. So I have quite the file system set up with information on these guys. And what we noticed right up until the last person we profiled, Vince Young, is that the Black quarterbacks have a journey filled and littered with obstacles, hurdles, being held back, made life made harder, racism, discrimination. That's just the prevailing theme for each quarterback that we've discussed so far. Vince Young left me upset because it's obvious that Vince Young was a star, right? And one of the questions about Vince Young's journey that I need answers to is, we know he played in the Rose Bowl. He was a champion, right? We know that Reggie Bush won the Heisman Award, and we know they took it back from Reggie Bush and tried to give it to who? Vince Young. And we know Vince Young said, no, that's Reggie Bush trophy. So we knew already that Vince Young was what? A dual threat quarterback and one of the best. And a matter of fact, if you ask, Vince Young is the best college quarterback. And he's on that list of dual threat quarterbacks, going, and he was what, 2005. So the question I want to ask, because Tennessee is where he was drafted to, why a win? When did the Tennessee Titans, if and when did the Tennessee Titans tell Vince Young that they were going to convert him from a dual threat quarterback to a pocket passer? Was there ever a conversation? Has this been documented? Did he know when he went to Tennessee that they had a pure pocket passer coach who wanted Matt Leinart, which is his college alum, and that he wanted Vince Young to be not a dual threat that he was a champion for, the reason they drafted him, but a pure pocket passer, which disrupted his career? I want to know, when was this discussion held? When did he agree to it? These are all questions that need answers, because it's very, very troubling for Vince Young's journey is filled with neglect, malpractice, all sorts of kind of things. So that's one of the questions I had following Vince Young. So my question to the podcast community after discussing Vince Young was, who's next? I have a list, but I always ask every week, who's next? Who are we discussing next? So they said Daunte Culpepper. So I immediately went to work looking into Daunte Culpepper's career. Now, one of the things that we do is we look at Shedeur's story, right? And we look to see if what happened to Shedeur Sanders pre-draft and post-NFL draft and during the NFL draft. So pre, during, and post-NFL draft, are there any similarities? Because we're seeing so many similarities, with the other quarterbacks. And another quarterback we're also looking at to see if there's something that most people didn't realize about his career. Was there any foul play? Is Michael Vick. And we're going to have to wait till we finish the series. We have a long list of Black quarterbacks to discuss before we can ascertain whether or not there was foul play with Michael Vick. And we discussed that none of these guys have sued for racial discrimination, but they all have a case. So tonight is Daunte Culpepper. And unlike Shedeur, Daunte Culpepper's life did start with the typical story that the NFL seems to relish in when it comes to Black NFL players, and that's poverty, incarceration, trouble. And Daunte Culpepper was born to a mother who was incarcerated. She was in jail when she gave birth to her son. And at the time, there was an angel there, a corrections officer who adopted, his name is now Daunte Culpepper, who adopted that baby when he was 1 day old. She adopted him into her home with 15 other children. And that was not a problem at all. She was a good mother. And she was alive in 84, his adoptive mother, when he got drafted into the NFL. So she lived long enough to see the fruits of her labor and raising this child, that was her purpose, because he went on to be successful. So he grew up, you can't even use the word poverty. He was born into incarceration with his mother. But she adopted him at 1 day old, named him Daunte Culpepper. She was Mrs. Culpepper. So his identity, their family name, became his. And he grew up with 14 other siblings and no issues. Now, he became an athlete. He also, I believe, got drafted. He could have been a baseball player. So I was thinking about Coach Prime because, Coach Prime also, 1989, he went to the Major League Baseball. So Daunte Culpepper could have been Major League Baseball, but he chose football. But before he got to the draft, he finished high school as Mr. Football. He was 6'4", 250 pounds. He was a big guy, but he wasn't just sizable. He was uber talented, like Vince Young, like Warren Moon, like Doug Williams, a standout. Most Black quarterbacks that come to the NFL are standout elite athletes. They have to be to make it out of college. So we see this time and time again. Mr. Football, time for him to go from high school to college. And what happens? The D1 school said, we can't risk a scholarship on you because your SAT scores aren't that good. So he went to a D2 school at the time, University of South Florida. Now let's just pause for a second. Now we all know college football players, even in 1999, had help. Their SAT scores, all they needed to do was sign their name. They didn't care what it was. They wanted that talent. So why all of a sudden did D1 schools not want his talent? Did they not want him to be a Black quarterback at their school? So he went on to D2 and balled out at USF. And then guess what happened? He was drafted in the first round, like number 11, by the Minnesota Vikings. So he crossed that hurdle of, hey, we don't want you. He didn't mind going to USF. I'm sure he had fun there. Balled out, came into the league, got drafted, and guess what happened in year one? They didn't let him throw the ball at all. They only wanted him to rush it. So here we go again. Another elite dual threat Black QB. Putting hurdles in his way, and you don't even want him to throw the ball. So not only can he throw it, he can run it too, and you only give him five rushes in his first year. So you holding him back, because guess what he did in year two? Oh, he balled out. Daunte Culpepper broke records. He was a phenom. He was exciting to watch. But his career was interrupted by injury. It did not come without issues with the head coach. And I learned something today. I learned that no matter how talented you are, because everybody in NFL is supposed to be talented. But again, Black quarterbacks are all elite without question. They have to be. If you are not favored or considered the guy by the position coach that owns that room, you're not going to get on that field, and definitely not as a starter. So now you could see why maybe some of these Black quarterbacks, the ones who've had problems with their head coaches like Vince Young, Daunte Culpepper. You can see why you have to not just be talented, but you have to be liked. And if they have personal biases against black quarterbacks, because too many of them did and some still do, then you're not going to be favored. So maybe that's why he didn't play in year one, because the NFL has this philosophy that, oh, he can't read defenses. But then he goes out here and breaks records in yards and touchdowns. Daunte Culpepper's career ended with injury, and I looked to see if there was foul play. It did not appear to be. It wasn't not his O-line. It was just the way his 240-pound frame fell on his knee. He tore 3 ligaments. Most people tear 1. He tore 3. They said he was never the same after that. But here's what was happening before that injury. Peyton Manning was drafted. And then eventually Tom Brady. And they got all the attention with the media giving day-by-day updates about Peyton Manning. Not even Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. But they didn't talk about Daunte Culpepper. So the media is doing right now what we see it doing, weaponizing itself to cast a shadow over the players that they don't want to talk about. And they did it to Daunte Culpepper. Then he got injured. And yes, there was a scandal on Lake Minnetonka, but he was cleared of it. People said Randy Moss really was the guy that made him look good. Just like they said Travis Hunter made Shedeur look good. And what do we see Shedeur doing in camp? With the least opportunity at reps, he's the most efficient quarterback, 7 of 9 passes and attempts and passes. He has 3 touchdowns. So that's what you call making the most of your opportunity, your limited opportunity. Everybody else was 9 of 16, 9 of 14. He was 7 of 9 and had 3 touchdowns. So they want to overshadow Shedeur, but his skill set is just too good. But unfortunately for Daunte Culpepper, getting injured made it easier for them to erase him from the conversation of NFL QB legends, because he is one. In fact, I heard somebody talk about the best dual threat QBs, and they had Donovan McNabb on the list. And they were like, Donovan McNabb is black, but however, he really is not a dual threat. You know who the first dual threat quarterback was in the NFL? Daunte Culpepper, not Michael Vick. So why you want to celebrate Michael Vick, but not Daunte Culpepper? Culpepper was recorded as saying that African Americans quarterback in their journey is tough. So he knew what time it was. He knew exactly what time it was. Just like Warren Moon. I don't know if Vince Young ever knew what time it was. I think he figured it out. But during his playing days, I don't think he knew. He knew he was singled out, but I don't think he knew why. Then again, maybe he just didn't let on. But Daunte Culpepper knew what time it was, and maybe that's why they went ahead and erased him in favor of Peyton Manning and then Tom Brady. So here's the thing. And I asked myself, I said, why couldn't they just celebrate all 3? Or before Tom Brady, why couldn't they just celebrate Peyton Manning and Daunte Culpepper? Why did it have to be, oh, Peyton Manning is here, Daunte Culpepper who? Why? This man was a phenom. How many people believe if Peyton Manning came in 1999 and Daunte Culpepper came afterwards, that they would have erased or overshadowed Peyton Manning? So you can't say it's because Peyton Manning came along. It's a lot of quarterbacks that play at the same time. In fact, it's 32 quarterbacks that play every season. And we talk about them. We talk about Tom Brady. We talk about Joe Burrows. We talk about Peyton Manning. We talked about Eli Manning. So why couldn't we talk about Daunte Culpepper and appreciate him for what he did for the game? Because what? We didn't want to talk about dual threat quarterbacks, which is why he didn't have the label, but Michael Vick did. Daunte Culpepper figured out what time it was. And like many of the other black quarterbacks out here, he was hyper elite coming out of high school. And D1 schools didn't want to touch him because they were worried about, are we going to waste a scholarship on him? I wonder how many D1 players had help with their schoolwork, or somebody else did it for them, or their SATs was just sign your name and don't worry about it. So they used it to exclude him, and he still went on to be great at the D2 level. Because see, here's what they think. Oh, if I exclude you, like Shedeur, if I exclude Shedeur from Q1, QB1, he's not going to ever arise to greatness. Well, we see that's already not true. Same thing with Daunte Culpepper, making him wait to play a year and then he balls out. It's a complete waste of these players' times. What the league does not want to admit is the black players that do come into the league are pro ready. Yep. And when they realize it, they move them around so they have to keep learning offenses. And that was in the era of Tyrod Taylor and Geno Smith, or Warren Moon and Doug Williams. Warren Moon went to Canada so he would not get devalued. But they didn't devalue in the draft Daunte Culpepper, but they didn't let him play. They didn't let him throw the ball. They let him rush it 5 times. But then when he got on, it was all gravy until Peyton Manning came along. And then it was Daunte Culpepper who. And now he's just erased. He's not even one of the legends that they should be. He's one of the legends they should be talking about, but he's not. They intentionally don't talk about him. So every time this week I saw somebody talking about dual threat quarterbacks, I'm in the comments, what about Daunte Culpepper? It's true, Donovan McNabb was not a true dual threat quarterback, but Daunte Culpepper was, so he deserves to be in the conversation. But they leave him out. And it's sad because real football fans, when you look at the information that's out there, they know what time it is too. They know he's that dude. But they make it harder for them. They divert them out of college using the excuse, oh, I don't know if I should waste a scholarship on you. But when it's a running back or a wide receiver, just sign your name and come on in. I got somebody. I got a tutor for you. Believe me. There was one guy that played for the Kansas City Chiefs. He couldn't even read, but he wasn't a quarterback. I feel like his name was Derek somebody, but I could be wrong. If anybody knows, yeah, there was a period that black football players, too many of them were popping up illiterate. How did you get from college to the NFL and you illiterate? Because they wanted your physical athleticism. You didn't need to think. See, quarterbacks need to think. So they make it a little harder for them to get there. His first year, 5 rushes, not one time passing the ball. I guess they just couldn't stand to see it. And the moment they got the opportunity to, they cast him to the side for Peyton Manning, like they couldn't celebrate Peyton Manning and Daunte Culpepper. So if there's nobody else, you will do. Daunte Culpepper knew what time it was. So that's his story. His career wasn't that long, not past 6 years, because of the injury. 3 ligaments torn, but he did come back. But just like Vince Young, when Vince Young left Tennessee, team to team to team. Cut, cut, cut. We don't know if they were good or not, but they were ready for them to go. That's what we do know. Because just like some QBs come in and have to go from team to team to team, Geno Smith and Tyrod Taylor, some like Vince Young and Daunte Culpepper get cut, cut, cut. Whereas they hold on to people like Daniel Jones, who's proven in New York he's not the guy. But he gets $14 million to go compete for QB1 with Anthony Richardson. So if you're a black QB, your job is not safe. But they would not dare challenged J.J. McCarthy. In fact, Sam Darnold was in Minnesota with J.J. McCarthy and Daniel Jones, and they split all three of them up and put them on three different teams so they could have opportunities. Black quarterbacks don't get that. They don't get the luxury of that kind of favoritism. And what we saw in the NFL draft was, we don't care about your talent. They said Shedeur wasn't athletic and he not mobile. But now they want Lamar Jackson to be a pocket passer. No cap. I just read it the other day. They want Josh Allen to be a pocket passer. They drafted Tyler Shaw and Jackson Dart as pocket passers. So they want everybody to go be a pocket passer. They want to negate the athleticism, but they say Shedeur don't have it, and he still got pushed as far away from potentially, according to their theory, being a QB1. But what's happening right now? The only reason Shedeur Sanders is number 2 on a post going around out of Cleveland is because they rank the QBs by jersey number. Yeah. From Flacco to Shedeur to Pickett to Gabriel. Now, when do you rank people that you have stats next to their name? You list them by jersey number, because you don't want to list Shedeur first with 7 out of 9 and 3 touchdowns. Because if you list it by touchdowns, it's Shedeur Sanders. If you list it by efficiency, doing the most with the least amount of time and the least amount of opportunity, it's Shedeur Sanders. He's only second because Flacco's jersey number is higher than his. What kind of foolishness is that? How long did it take you to come up with that? So what's happening to Shedeur has happened to other quarterbacks. There's a pattern of racial discrimination and racism against Black quarterbacks. Make no mistake about it. Any Black quarterback in the NFL is elite. If they tell you otherwise, they are lying. If they pick somebody that's not elite, he was just a cover up for something you probably don't even know about. And I'm going to find out. When you hear them say Tyrod Taylor's trash, that's a lie. They didn't give him a proper opportunity. And when he got it, an NFL team doctor punctured his lung and still works for that team to this day. When they said Geno Smith was trash after being moved from sorry team to sorriest team and goes and balls out under Pete Carroll, oh, he's gotten better. He was never a problem. You have to be elite if you are a Black quarterback in the NFL. They will not let you in unless they need you to cover for something that they did. And they don't want you to know about it. You have to be elite to even get in college, because you see Daunte Culpepper, they wouldn't even take him, talking about we don't know if we should waste a scholarship. Like they didn't have illiterate players who were 9 QBs in the NFL. So Daunte Culpepper's story is really short because his career was short. But he went through the exact same prejudice, racism, discrimination, being held back, hurdles put in front of him, coach having a problem with him. And unfortunately, he got injured. Luckily, Tyrod Taylor came back from a punctured lung by a doctor for the NFL. And the NFL has not dismissed this doctor. Luckily, Geno Smith, one of the few out of his class, body stayed healthy enough that he could still be around. Daunte Culpepper only amassed $34 million in career earnings in the 6 years I think he was there. Tyrod Taylor and both Geno Smith, both still in the league, neither have made $100 million. Daniel Jones was over $100 million when the time he left New York. Black quarterbacks do not get that kind of favoritism. They don't get the opportunity to start unless they good. And if I don't want you to start, something might happen to you. People are telling me in the comments, Shedeur Sanders is going to make it to QB1. I'm like, what, did you not watch the draft? You saw how hard they worked to keep him out of QB1 in the draft. They're not going to just roll over right now. And it's to the point where he's actually the best QB. He technically is when it comes to merit, the best QB that they have, and they ranked him number 2 because Joe Flacco number is a higher jersey number than Shedeur. I have never seen anybody do anything like that in my life. Those are the hurdles and the ladders I told y'all they was going to jump over and climb to do anything to keep Shedeur Sanders from 17 of 32, including rank him second because his jersey number is 12 and Flacco's is higher than 12. That ought to tell you how serious they are and determined they are to keep Shedeur Sanders from 17 or 32. But why they over here trying to hold Shedeur Sanders back? And they're having a tough damn time doing it because we see what's happening in OTAs. We know he balled out in rookie minicamp. We know he balling out in OTAs. They're going to have a hard time. They're going to have a difficult time holding Shedeur Sanders back because people going to be like, what? See, in the draft, they got away with it because they defamed him. And the media just repeated it over and over and over and over and over. They made up lies. They said and did anything, which is nothing but a sign of desperation. But they succeeded. Instead of Shedeur becoming 17 to 32 in the first round, that draft concluded with 16 QB1s that are black. They ushered in Tyler Shaw. They ushered in Jackson Dart, who are not better than Shedeur Sanders or Jalen Milroe. There was never, ever a debate about it. And the reason why you never heard them debate Shedeur and Jackson Dart is because they knew pre-draft Jackson Dart's not better than Shedeur, and he's not better than Jalen Milroe. What Shedeur went through in the draft, Jalen Milroe went through at Alabama. People say the league is rigged. They talking about the games. I'm talking about the draft. For sure. We walked away with that. We all on the same page there. So if they don't get you pre-draft, if they don't get you during the draft, they going to get you during your career. That has been established. My question is, what is the motive for taking a Daunte Culpepper? But he's pro ready, but you want him to sit on the bench. And when he does play, he breaks records. He's a phenom. What's the purpose of you even drafting him? Because you don't want him to go to another league or somebody to go to another league and take that market share away from you, just like you probably don't want Shedeur to go to Canada. If you were okay with Shedeur going to Canada, you would have never led him on to believe he was going to get drafted. You would have told him around the same time that NFL insider, I hope somebody subpoena that conversation and the people involved in it. That Mel Kiper Jr. on the Phil Yates podcast, before or on February 20th, the NFL does not want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders now. And Mel Kiper Jr. went on to discuss, well, what, you don't want pocket passes no more? Okay, you want the running around guy, meaning the dual threat. No, because Tyler Shaw and Jackson Dart are pocket passers. So they weren't talking about skill set. What were they talking about? Maybe that's where subpoenas come in. Because that is a conversation to subpoena. It sure is. Who said it? You don't want to reveal your source? Weigh your notes. So Daunte Culpepper is no different. His career was just shortened. So who's next? Who's next for us to study that was on the list, or we going to add to the list? Because now we know Daunte Culpepper, born into the stereotypical situation, extreme poverty, but in his case, incarceration, adopted by an angel. Thankfully, she got to see him get drafted. That was her first time flying on an airplane. She gave him his last name, and she gave him 14 siblings, and he grew up to be a great person. Snubbed by D1 schools after being Mr. Football in high school, and that Major League Baseball drafted him. only to draft him in the first round. And most first round QBs start. See, that's why they locked Shedeur out of the first round. That's actually reported, documented. Most first round QBs start. Even though Lamar Jackson was pushed down to 32, what happened? He should have started because he was unanimous MVP the next year. They didn't want Shedeur to start. That's why he was locked out of the first round. Look at the depth chart for the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward is QB1. Shedeur Sanders, 17 to 32. I sure wish he would have just got the number 17. Fans want Shedeur out of Cleveland, to be honest. We just so sick of the whole dog and pony show. This is a fake QB competition. Anytime the organization puts out media and they rank people based on their jersey number instead of the stats in front of us, the best, the most touchdowns, the most efficient, which is how Rookie of the Year is decided, they don't want him to make it to QB1. And that came from, I think, ESPN Cleveland, which is the right hand of the NFL. So let's see who's in the comments here. See what y'all saying. Who's next? Okay, let me say hi. Hey, Charlotte. Hey, Juanita. Miss Pamela. Can we please do Terrell Pryor? Okay, we got to at least get a majority here. So let me see. 2 or more, I guess, or whatever. Let's see. All right, Terrell Pryor. He's on the list. Let's see. So that's a vote for Terrell Pryor. Hey, Jerry. How you doing? Hey, Marlon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Daryl. Welcome, welcome. Family and friends, good evening. Hey, Kiel. Angela, how you doing, Angela C? It said, and Shedeur is liked by his peers. And in my opinion, he will connect with the guys that will give him a win. I agree. Everybody likes Shedeur. I even heard Flacco in his post-practice interview. He likes Shedeur. I said, okay, I like Flacco. I like Flacco. Now, why it is that the media lady would ask Flacco about Shedeur is beyond me. But his response was, Shedeur's good. You know, he even made me laugh, but Shedeur's good. Nobody is blind. We can see that this kid is balling out. But what we getting ready to witness, and you heard it here first, is what I said the last time we were talking. You are going to witness people jumping over hoops and climbing ladders to do everything to prevent Shedeur from becoming QB1. Understand that's what we watching. Because anytime somebody puts out a ranking based on jersey number, when their stats on the same line, is total insanity. And it's a dog and pony show. And they trying to hold this kid back. They ought to be ashamed of themselves because everything they tried, nothing works. Pre-draft, they tried to break his spirit. It did not work. They defamed him. It did not work. It worked for them, keeping him out of what? The number 2 spot. They robbed him. Now, let's go on the record to say that's the only thing came out of that draft. They robbed him. They publicly humiliated him, but we didn't care about that because he was over there doing what? Singing his song and dancing with his family. Like, he drafted in the number 2 spot. He was so happy. So their little plan didn't work. But yes, there are damages. Let's be clear. The collusion that the NFL was announced to be guilty of in February, found guilty of collusion, but no damages. Let's be clear here. The NFL is guilty of collusion by way of defaming and publicly humiliating Shedeur Sanders and plotting against him to lock him out of the first round and push him down in the draft as far away from what they think his ability to get to QB1, overlooking his talent, making the draft about favoritism, racial politics. I don't want to hear about Cam Ward going first. That's called optics. Because it also happened to Jalen Milroe. They picked Shedeur Sanders' pockets. So there are damages in this collusion case to the tune of $70 million. And it goes up every day. Because what we're seeing in Cleveland is what? When he got there, what do we see? People trying to continue the same defamatory language. trying to say he's not that good, that he's asking for something. He has to work for it. Well, guess what? He did, and what you gonna do now? What you gonna say now? Because you got him ranked, even though he's the best and the most efficient by his jersey number 2 at Flacco, and that's the best you could do. How long it take you to come up with that? That's why we already passed the $70 million mark, because you still with the foolishness. You have not learned your lesson. You have not learned from that $1 billion lawsuit in 2021 that you settled. That's why $100 million is not enough. Because you still with the same bull jump. The same racism, the same discrimination, going all the way back to Doug Williams. Daryl said, yes, people say Daunte wanted this opportunity because he was throwing to Moss and Chris Carter. That knee injury limited him to the pocket. His return in Miami was looking good, but that knee, right? I mean, he tore 3 ligaments. So, yeah, his career did cost him. But honestly, I think Randy Moss was out and hurt at one point, and Daunte was still rocking and rolling. So it proved it was not Randy Moss, just like it wasn't Travis making Shedeur look good. I'm from Minneapolis, and we love Daunte. Oh, good. Thank you, John Kidd. Thank you so much. Daunte wasn't the same after the injury, right? And that's understandable. That's understandable. Nobody's debating post-injury. So thank y'all for clearing that up, because I did say we don't know how he was. So, yeah, I appreciate the insight. Yeah, I definitely appreciate the insight. But I am definitely, from the time he was Mr. Football to D1 school shunning him, knowing that they had illiterate players. I know one, I think, played for Kansas City, but he wasn't the quarterback. Derek Thomas. Yes, that's the name. Thank you, Daryl. Derek Thomas was a player. I don't know if he's still alive. I'm not trying to be, insult anyone, but he was found to be illiterate, and he wasn't the only one. So how is it that in 1999, Daunte Culpepper gets shunned by D1 schools, and he goes to USF and ball out? Because they thought shunning him from D1 schools, he wasn't going to get any looks at USF. But they were wrong, just like they were wrong about pushing Shedeur Sanders down, which was excluding him, thinking, we'll see how low he goes. So he goes to 144. He could have won undrafted. He's that talented. So they discounted his talent, just like they discounted Daunte Culpepper's talent, because they didn't want these guys to be on the same level with the quarterbacks they prefer, because they feel like they're going to show them up. Okay. That's what happened when you have athleticism and mobility. Is that why Josh Allen got $330 million? Because he has the same thing? Athleticism and mobility, stiff arming players. So let's see who else get $330 million. It's a curse when it's Lamar Jackson or when it's Deshaun Watson. But that athleticism and that dual threat capability is what got $330 million for Josh Allen. That and people changing their votes to give him MVP, like Emmanuel Acho. Which is why some players say the media shouldn't even have a say-so into who's MVP. That should be a peer vote. And I agree. So why would the NFL let the media, who it has media rights deals with, choose? That's a conflict of interest. So thank you for that, Daryl. Yep, that's his name, Derek Thomas. Also, Dexter Manley, he played with the Washington Redskins. He didn't know how to read either. Yeah. Isn't that funny? And I don't know what year they played. Maybe the 80s. I'm not sure. But here's the thing. That was happening more than just those two. Just like Deshaun Watson wasn't the only one, Derek Thomas and Dexter Manley weren't the only ones either. But Daunte Culpepper got snubbed. Oh, we don't know if we could waste a scholarship on you. They thought they were going to hold him down and he wouldn't get any shine at USF, and he balled out. Then they take him first round and then let him sit there. No, they didn't even let him pass the ball. just 5 rushes. But then when he does play, he balls out. That shows you wasting this man's time. They wasted Shedeur time too. Because he definitely should be QB1 and everybody should be all right with it because the NFL should be a meritocracy, including the NFL draft. This is not a preference party. This is not a participation league. But that's how they're running it. So, yes, 3 ligaments disrupted Daunte Culpepper's career. Yes. But he endured the same things as the rest for the short period of time that he was a quarterback. Starting from college, Donovan McNabb went to like 5 NFC championship games. Dog would run you over and pass you. Okay, well, they say he really a dual threat, but okay, maybe because he was number 5 on the list. But Daunte, okay, so let's talk. Donovan McNabb or Daunte Culpepper? Which one was the better dual threat QB? I believe it's Daunte Culpepper. Let me know in the comments whether it's McNabb or Daunte Culpepper, the better dual threat. Just let me know. Let's be honest. Because I don't see why he's left off. And even if his career is short, it doesn't matter. He did a lot he was highly successful in a very short amount of time. That's efficient. That's what efficiency looks like. Just like Shedeur, 7 of 9, 3 touchdowns. They gave him the least amount of opportunities, and he did the most with it. That's efficient. That's what wins Rookie of the Year. That's what wins MVP. Good evening. Hey, Jackie. How you doing? How you doing? Vince Young was the man. You know what? Vince Young, learning about him hurt my heart because his career was not marred by injury. This man was neglected, and I still don't know why they drafted him. But if you just now joining, my question was when I started this episode, when and if and when did the Tennessee Titans tell Vince Young they were going to convert him from the championship winning dual threat quarterback and best QB in college football to a pocket passer? Because that's what the coach, Jeff Fisher, wanted from Matt Leinart, but he couldn't get it. When did somebody tell Vince Young, we're going to convert you to a pocket passer? And when did he say, okay? I need to know this because otherwise it's negligence. It's negligence. Otherwise, you drafting somebody that's talented at one thing and you throwing them into the fire without their knowledge that they got to switch. That's negligence. That's deceitful. And that's problematic. They have ruined his career. So I want to know, is it documented? And when was it, if it ever happened? And when did he agree to it? Jeff Fisher should have been fired, but he was left there too long to destroy this young man. And when they fired him, it was too late. That's negligence. Workplace negligence. These guys are young that they taken advantage of. Jeff Fisher was not 22 years old. He was older, lived longer, saw more, had more knowledge and more wisdom. And he chose to try to tear this young man down because he wasn't Matt Leinart. I blame the Titans ownership for that. And was it collusion? Because why didn't the damn team in Houston take him? He was right there at UT. Did they pass on him so Tennessee could get him so they could destroy him? These are all questions that need answers. Because if he was a pure pocket pass, if he was a dual threat quarterback that won a championship at the Rose Bowl, and you turn him into a pocket passer and left him there with Jeff Fisher, who you eventually fired, you were negligent, number one. And two, were you colluding so you could disrupt him because you didn't want black quarterbacks to use their athleticism. You wanted them to stand there in the pocket and throw, which is something you said was outdated. But in 2025 with Shedeur Sanders, you claim that's retro style QB. And he cost too much for that. But then you went on ahead and drafted Jackson Dart and Tyler Shaw, pocket passers, of which at the Senior Bowl, it was said that Jackson Dart has already reached his ceiling. But Shedeur Sanders was recorded as saying or reported he has more upside. So explain it. The criteria you used to draft these players had everything to do with skin color and nothing to do with talent. Because you're contradicting yourself so many times. you doing, Chris? How you doing? Vince Young was the man. Yes, he was. Don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, please do so. Hey, Crowley, how you doing? How you doing? Yes, 12 is making the best of his. I mean, but we knew that, right? I mean, 12 is doing 12 things. Shedeur is doing what Shedeur does. I don't like calling him 12. People keep, now what do y'all think about this? People keep saying, oh, 12, Tom Brady. I'm like, don't compare Shedeur to Tom Brady. After Tom Brady just sat there and let him be pushed down like that. Tom Brady could have done what Isaac Newsom did for Lamar Jackson. He's a part owner. Why couldn't he? What he in danger of worried about? He don't work for them. He's ownership, limited ownership. That's how you know they was all in on it. None of them had the decency or leaned on their decency. And some of them might have not liked it, but they went along with it. That's why it's called collusion. Because it was done to harm somebody. Which is why when the day of the draft, oh, it's good he didn't come to Green Bay because he was locked out of the first round. Yeah, because y'all don't want him to be QB1. So let me see what you're going to do next. But I want him to watch his back because who was it y'all told me was poisoned and Tyrod Taylor's lung was punctured when he got the QB1? Yeah, see, things happen to people when they make it to places they don't want them to make it to. And I already told y'all what I did not trust in Cleveland. I told y'all I don't trust Cleveland with what? To do a safety, his security, in his career. And the media is aiding and abetting again, just like the draft. Oh, okay. You meant to say he's making the best out of his opportunity to ball out. And each time he gets some reps. Yeah. And he is. 7 of 9, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, he is. He is. Pat White from West Virginia was done dirty like Shedeur and drafted later by Miami. Okay, that's somebody we need to put on the list because I never heard of that person. Pat White. Okay. Angela Truth. Thank you, Angela. Love the hearts. Marlon said Culpepper, McNabb, Vic, Smith, even Vic cousin, Aaron Brooks. That's Michael Vick cousin from New Orleans. I mean, that played for New Orleans, number 2. He wore number 2 in New Orleans. Brooks. OG QBs were ballers back then. Yeah. I want you to understand. They all ballers. Name one black QB that's not a baller. And I'm gonna go and look it up and tell you why. Name one black quarterback that you can think of that was not elite. I'll wait. Put it in the comments. Tell me which one wasn't elite. And I'll tell you that they broke him. That's what I'm gonna tell you. Because that's what happened to Vince Young. And it seems intentional. It seems intentional. So now, while we as a podcast will be out here ever vigilant, watching them try to, what did I say, jump over hurdles and climb ladders to keep Shedeur out of the QB1 spot, so much so that they out here embarrassing themselves and ranking QBs by jersey number, he gonna need to watch his back. Pat White was a monster at West Virginia. I never heard of him. Okay, I'm going to look him up. We'll put him on the list. Okay, so who's next, guys? Because we already have Terrell Pryor. It said, I believe Dallas has Quincy Carter. He was a baller, but Dallas played him. I never heard of him. Quincy Carter. The NFL passed completely over Heisman Trophy winner, dual threat black QB Charlie Ward. Okay, so did Charlie Ward go to the NBA because the NFL was going to devalue him some kind of way? We're gonna get the Charlie Ward. So right now we have 1 vote for Terrell Pryor. Who else? Condridge Holloway Jr., first black QB at the University of Tennessee. Do your research on him. Okay. So I have Pat White, West Virginia. Hold on 1 second. Pat White, West Virginia. Can somebody just email this to me? Pat White, West Virginia. Quincy Carter, Dallas. Condridge Holloway Jr., Tennessee. Okay, I will. Yep, they holding on to top talent. Yep, that's right, Political Lil. Welcome back. They were like, if I can't have him, no one can. Are you talking about Michael Vick? Let me know who you're talking about, John. Jen, let me know who you're talking about. Or you could be talking about Shedeur. And I actually said that. I said, I can collude with you or I can collude against you. Because if Shedeur's gonna make, say, Cleveland rich, yeah, we don't want that. I mean, it could happen. It could happen. I told y'all that's kind of like going shopping with people you think are your friends, and you see a dress that you like, and the other ones are like, girl, that's not cute, but you know it's cute, but they talking you out of it. Girl, only one of us could get that dress. So you know what? Just tell her it's not cute, and none of us won't get it. Right. They know Shedeur. Every time Jerry Jones saw Shedeur, like when they were at that Dallas game, he was grinning at him like a Cheshire cat, and all he saw was money bags. So they don't want Shedeur to make the money for one team. That's it. But I don't believe that. I know it's 17-32. Because if that was the case, the ESPN wouldn't have a hand in it out here ranking the QBs in Cleveland by their jersey number, when it's clear that Shedeur is the best one, because they don't want to admit it. And it's not like they don't know. I want you to know that they know. But if they admit it, he gonna have to get that QB1 spot. And that is what this is about. And I'm gonna keep saying it, because it's gonna become more and more evident as time goes on, because I don't know what else you're gonna do. Because if you hurt him, you're gonna have a problem. So you don't want to do that. Nobody's going to understand that if something like what happened to Tyrod Taylor, or something that happened to the other quarterback that y'all said was poisoned and nobody else was, and they all ate in the same place. Nobody is going to understand any freak accident of any kind regarding Shedeur in Cleveland. It's going to be bedlam around here. Hey, Eric Jackson, how you doing? How you doing? Randall Cunningham was one of the great all-time dual threat QBs in NFL history. Okay, Jerry, and his name is on the list. All right. Since I'm with you at this point, we need to take all the top black players in the NFL and start another league and see which league get the most views. We already know. We already know. That's what they're doing, harboring talent. So I guess they don't want Canada to blow up, or somebody to get the bright idea to start their own league like Coach Prime. But see, I was like, you know, it's so funny how they were hating on Colorado's program. I said, y'all gonna put Coach Prime in a position the way y'all treating his sons and his players, by snubbing them and act like you don't see them, and devaluing it and picking their pockets. He gonna start his own league, and I don't know what you're gonna do then, because we all going. We all going. Even people that don't look like the people they prefer, they going too, because they sick of it too. I'm like, I just want to see some good football. They just want to see some good football too. I told you, not everybody is with the foolishness, but too many of them are. And too many other people are silent, like Tom Brady. And too many other people co-sign, like Emmanuel Acho. Thank you for that, Jared. Thank you for that, Chris. Sounded like collusion. But let me sip. Yup. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Charlotte said Randall Cunningham. All right. We got Terrell Pryor and Randall Cunningham. So drop out of those two, who y'all want to see next? I think Shedeur personality is so big that he finds a way to be kind to people, and especially his teammates. I think he just himself, and they just like him. Shedeur funny. Shedeur is funny. I'm telling y'all, I was looking at some of their clips from not the old show, but when they was teasing Coach Prime about his toes, and it came so natural to him. Even Joe Flacco said it. He had me cracking a laugh in practice. I think Shedeur is just being himself. I don't think he's trying to overcome the negativity they said about him. They showed one guy, I forgot his name. Shedeur was like in the lobby somewhere. It looked like they were going somewhere. And the guy, MJ, came up to him and just shook his hand and went back where he was. That's the kind of reception that lets Shedeur know, keep going. Just like when the running backs, they did like that. You know, I'm telling you right now, they need to go ahead on and let Shedeur play, because if he score, I want to see this. I need to see it, and that's what people gonna do. So he might as well do it. I don't want him shrinking from that. Maybe don't worry about it in practice, because you locked in, and everybody, y'all all players. But they better let him play. They gonna have. I'm telling y'all, they gonna have a problem not letting him play. You see, he got the least amount of reps, and he did the most with it. See, that's people that you can't hold back, but they gonna keep trying. And I'm gonna be right here. I'm gonna be right here calling it out. I'm gonna be right here calling it out. Eric Jackson was in the comments, y'all. That's the guy that actually had done the lawsuit. I got some people I want him to subpoena. What she said got a subpoena list. She said sports subpoena list. Can I get you to subpoena these people for me, please? I'm laughing, but I'm serious as hell. I got a list, bro. I got a list of some folks that need to shut the hell up. And a subpoena will do because they got some info that I want to find out more information about. So I don't know if it works like that, but you know, I'm just letting y'all know. That's hilarious. So Charlie Ward, I remember he played with Dion at Florida State and became a basketball player and a head coach. Okay, so Randall Cunningham, Charlie Ward, or Terrell Pryor. Death Valley. Okay, Death Valley. Is that LSU? Jeff Blake, who played for Cincy, taught Shedeur how to throw his deep ball. Okay, I think I heard about Jeff Blake too. I don't even know if he's on the list. I wonder if he's on the list. Well, I'm gonna take whoever is out there on the media team. Just take these names and email them to me, please. I appreciate it. Jerry, Tina, Charlotte, Regina, Gracie, anybody. Send these names to me because I don't know if they're on the list. I just want to make sure. If y'all don't mind, please. Nobody throws better than Vic. Vic didn't study and take it seriously. One thing about Michael Vick, I will say this. He pretty sharp. He pretty sharp, but Vince Young was good. Vince Young was good though, but he came after Michael Vick. So before Michael Vick was Daunte Culpepper, and was Donovan McNabb before Daunte Culpepper? One was 99, Vick was 2001. What year was Donovan McNabb? Prior for the interesting backstory. All right, that's who we're going with. We're going with Terrell Pryor. We're going with Terrell Pryor. So I hope y'all good with that. That's who we going with. Terrell Pryor is the next QB we will profile. I remember hearing about this guy, but I don't know much. So I'm definitely interested in finding out. Does anybody know what year Terrell Pryor was drafted? Of course, I can find out. I'm just asking for info. Just, I'm just curious. So mentally, I can figure out, is he with the Michael Vicks? Is he with the Donovan McNabb, meaning pre-1999, or is he post-2001? Just trying to see in there. Was he with Peyton Manning, things of that nature? So, okay, we're going to go with that, Miss Pamela. We going with Terrell Pryor. Cleveland better do good by Shedeur. Yep, D. Johnson. Contextual said Culpepper replaced Randall Cunningham in Minnesota. Okay, so that's who he replaced. Okay, that's good to know. So when I study Randall Cunningham, when we get to that point, then I know that Daunte Culpepper was next. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. I don't like Cleveland. They are allergic to prosperity. Can't see why they keep on hating on the kid who just loved the game of football. They are lucky to even have Shedeur. Right. And you know what? I'm just going to be honest. Cleveland is doing the NFL's bidding. I don't have any problem with saying it because the NFL could stop Cleveland with the foolishness if they wanted to. Just like pre-draft, they could have stopped the foolishness with the media. And you see they let it go on. And it's still happening down there in Cleveland. So the NFL knows exactly what's going on. And remember, they sent out their phone, hit Shedeur Sanders' phone number to 2,000 people that did not need to know. So this Cleveland is doing the NFL's bidding. Cleveland is a franchise of the NFL. Understand that. Because Chick-fil-A is the owner of all the franchises. Understand that. You got to pay a fee to belong to the organization, just like the league. You know what I'm saying? So the NFL can stop this foolishness. I asked the question, why would you allow the media to defame and disparage your draft prospects? Because they in on it. They are doing the NFL league itself bidding. So y'all say Bucky got the opportunity to do behind the scenes, not behind the scenes, but like a rare look inside the NFL. We're going to see. I want to see when that happened, who is with. I want to see how that work out. Because if you clearly don't have no problem with Coach Prime if you let Bucky film in the NFL for the first time ever, which is unprecedented, right? After you just snubbed his brother and his other brother and his colleagues from Colorado. So you hurt the program. This is not about Coach Prime. This is about the program. And that's the bonus, because this is about keeping Shedeur out of 17 to 32. That's the main problem. That's the main strategy. Keep Shedeur away from QB1. And it's a bonus to hurt the CU program. But I'm going to hire his son. Come on now, something ain't right there. But that's what discovery is for, and I hope we get to that point. I do. Terrell Pryor never got a fair shot. Okay, I definitely have to look into this kid. Okay, Pryor kind of bum OSU. He was cold. Okay, he's young. Okay, I will definitely look into him. McNabb was the second pick in 99. Oh, okay. McNabb went before Culpepper. Okay, got it. The second pick. It said Tim Couch went first overall in Cleveland in 99. They said that's the guy that did not want Shedeur with the number 2. That's what they said. That's the only reason I know his name. So he came out in that same 99 draft. Okay. McNabb drafted right after Couch. So Couch was first. I think he's good. He was good for Cleveland, right? Because I think they say he was one of the best QBs they had. Okay. Pryor wasn't him. They did change his position. He was done wrong. Oh, what did they try to change him to? Wide receiver or defense? What did they try to change him to? I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up. All right, y'all. We're gonna get ready to wrap up out of here. We are hour in. This was good. So, my timeline. I actually have a file system set up with all the individual quarterbacks. So I put in their stuff so we can. I'm just formulating a pattern here. I'm just gonna go ahead on and be honest because I see it. Pryor got them free tattoos and got screwed. What? Check for Jason Campbell. Who did he play for, Marlon? Couch was not a good pro QB. Oh, he wasn't? Then how can he determine whether or not he wants Shedeur to have the number 2? And y'all remember I said Reggie Bush had his Heisman taken from him, right? And I asked, why didn't they give it to Matt? Why didn't they offer it to Matt Leinart? Why did they offer it to Vince Young? You see, 2 black quarterbacks. You could have offered it to Matt Leinart, and let's see if he got integrity. So that's how you know Vince Young was a good dude. He was like, that's Reggie Bush. That's his Heisman. You know what that made me think about right there in Cleveland? How Andre Carter, who never wore number 2 in the pros, ended up with Shedeur jersey number. Now, see, he should have did what Vince Young did. You know what? I'm going to go ahead on and take 5. Or matter of fact, just give me 8. I'm just happy to be here because I'm a journeyman. It's the same thing, except for Andre Carter took the bait. This man never wore 2 in the pros. He's been on several teams with all kind of numbers. So exactly what they did with the Heisman, with Reggie Bush playing keep away, is what they doing with Shedeur with the number 2. And nobody seems to really care anymore, but I hope he get his number. I'm sorry. He built a legacy with that. And they playing keep away with it. And Andre Carter is just like Vince Young, except for Vince Young had integrity. It said, no, that's Reggie Bush Heisman. Andre Carter could have said, that's Shedeur too. But he didn't look at it like that. And maybe they made him look at it a different way. Maybe they just gave him the 2 and he didn't choose. And I would have been like, I'm gonna need something else. So they played him too. They let him show he does not have integrity like Vince Young did. That's the same thing. You see what I'm saying? He got traded after 2 to 3 years. Washington. Honestly, if Shedeur play, I pray Cleveland cuts him and I can sign with another team. Cleveland is one place where they kill QB's careers. Right. And you know what's so funny? When Coach Prime said that, when Shedeur was 16, that tweet that they had going around, they cut the date off. They tried to make you think that was in current time. That was in 2018. And Hugh Jackson, who was a black coach, was the head coach at the time. And it's probably one of his friends. And he actually said it in a constructive criticism way because he wasn't trying to hurt anybody's feelings. He said, because probably Hugh Jackson was probably his friend. He said, I like what they're doing in Cleveland, but Cleveland's not any place for a young quarterback. And it's true. It's a revolving door, and they have the audacity to supposedly be having a conversation that they're going to draft the QB next year. I'm like, you know what? No. And the NFL could be like, you know what? No, you can't do nothing with what you got. You don't need, no, we're not letting you draft no QB. But now they just let them do whatever because it's ruining these guys' careers. But we know who career they're not going to let Cleveland ruin, don't we? Who was at UT and not even coming out next year. I hope what we see in the NBA is what we see in the NFL. These kids are staying in school for as long as possible to get that bag. Because if you a top 5 draft pick and you leave, the guy that's QB2 on the chart finna get that bread when you leave. Sure is. So go ahead. Because whoever is QB2 or whoever's wide receiver 2 or cornerback 2 or whatever 2 finna get that bread. They showed when they gave that guy the 2 in the video. I didn't see it. If somebody have the link to him, I would like to see that. I would like to see who's around when that happened. Thank you for that, T-Rod. Thank you. Dual threat accuracy myth is a lie. What you talking about, John Kidd? Let me know. Jerry said, I think they wanted Pryor to play wide receiver. No, not a surprise, right? Not a surprise. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's exactly what they wanted Lamar Jackson to. And I don't know when Pryor came out. Okay. Thank you for that, Jerry. And Daryl said, as accurate, not accurate at all. It said Lamar has been very accurate since Louisville when he won the Heisman. They just hate. Okay, John. Okay, I got it. I see what you're saying, that they using that a lot. Right. Like they said Michael Vick could read defenses. Somebody else I read. Oh, Vince Young couldn't read defenses. Michael Vick couldn't read defenses. Lamar Jackson has an accuracy problem. Shedeur Sanders had all kind of stuff. Entourage, a weak arm, which is obviously a lie. And I mean, they just lie. I mean, just bold face lie. And that's why $100 million is not enough. I'm just keep saying it. I'm gonna just keep saying it. So they might want to go ahead and push that one through. I might want to go ahead and push that one through because it's not enough. I'm sorry, it's just not. And don't forget what she said. Sports has a subpoena list. I have some people I want to see if we can get on there. Lamar has been very accurate since Louisville. It's a myth. Yeah, it's a myth. Prime is a football savant. Yup. His son is well prepared. Every player coming out of CU is pro ready. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Shedeur, Travis, Jimmy Horn Jr., LaJounte, Cameron Silver-Craig, and BJ Green. Did I miss anybody? Oh, Shiloh. I keep missing Shiloh out there in Tampa. Shiloh footwork is lethal. If you watch him since he practiced in the park, lethal. Or in the park, if you didn't watch that, lethal. Coach Swayze was a godsend for him. Lethal. Every last one of them. Because why? Coach Prime set it up that way. Black QBs are very accurate, but they say dual threat can't be accurate. I've heard them say they don't like dual threat quarterbacks because they get injured, this, that, and the other. I'm like, it's funny because a dual threat quarterback just won the Super Bowl. And they said, oh, this is another thing they said, and then we're going to get out of here. They said, the dual threat quarterback, are you good because you can run with your legs or extend plays? And I said, well, and they said Pat Mahomes is highly rated because he's the type of dual threat that extends plays. I'm like, oh, like Shedeur? Because we all know that's what Shedeur does, right? Isn't it funny how Shedeur is a classic retro style QB whose skills are outdated, but Jackson Dart and Tyler Shaw gets drafted in the same draft before him, and he's essentially Pat Mahomes, extending plays when it comes to extending plays. Crazy. He's Joe Burrows. They like him. You see what I'm saying? They just say anything. They say any absolute thing. They clearly don't have no process. They don't have no process. It's racial politics. It's about preference. And they trying to break these guys down who are dual threat quarterbacks because they are the reason that 17 to 32 is staring them in the face. And it's Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, Coach Prime's son. And if it had been done like it was supposed to do and wasn't about racial politics, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime would have 2 top 5 draft picks, top 10 draft picks in the first round. Josh Allen was not accurate at all at first. And they're trying to break him down to a pocket passer right now, too. I think they're trying to get rid of the dual threat because that's how the black guys got to 17 to 32 with Shedeur. And he's not even a dual threat, but they ain't want him either. That's why I'm like, okay, what is it that you want? Oh, I get it. You don't want any more black elite QBs. Excuse me. You don't want any more black QBs because they all elite. They all gonna rise to QB1. That's right. Because they got cherry picked so much that only the best made it out of college. And now you trying to stop it any way you can. Lie, cheat, steal, borrow, collude, public humiliate, defame, what have you. And they need to be taken as why Trevor Lawrence is not good. They don't want to have that conversation, right? And I'm gonna tell you why he's not good. See, this is what they they got what they wanted. I told you, God gonna give you what you want. Oh, okay. So you don't want you want the black players to exploit their athleticism because that's what they do to black players, and then it became black QBs. But you want to exploit them, and you find with them being QB2, QB3, and QB4, but they have all somehow have risen to QB1, and you trying to hold Shedeur back from the 17th spot. That's what you're trying to do. That's why you locked them out the first round. That's exactly what you're trying to do. And in the meantime, while you was pushing Shedeur down, you was drafting mediocrity and Tyler Shaw and Jackson Dart because the Senior Bowl said it. He already reached his ceiling. But you don't care because he's white. And that's all you want is the skin color. Because if Shedeur Sanders was white, you'd be happy with it. But you don't want another black QB at QB1 because you know every black QB that come into the NFL is elite. But in the same time, you are drafting mediocrity because you just want a preference when you should have been drafted for talent the whole way through. And that is why Trevor Lawrence is not good. And they overpaid him so they don't know what to do with him. And I think that's where Shedeur needs to be. But they don't want him to be QB1. So he probably not going to get there until they realize that while I'm so over here focused on Shedeur Sanders, thank you, Charlotte, thank you. I saw the QB list, thank you. While I'm so over here focused on holding Shedeur Sanders back, God damn it, I wasn't paying attention to Jalen Milroe, or I wasn't paying attention to somebody else. You need to control what you can control, and that's your damn self. You're not God, but you're definitely trying to play God, and you're losing. You're losing a guy. That's the crazy part, but you keep trying. So I'm going to just sit here and watch you keep calling it out. This is about accountability. This is about accountability for what they did to Shedeur Sanders, trying to play God, and they losing, and they don't want to stop. You think that they will be like, look, we just going to mess up everything. And maybe that's what need to happen. Roger Staubach and Joe Cap were white QBs who were dual threat. That was no problem, just to name a few. I mean, that's fine. I didn't think they were all black anyway. So, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with anybody that's actually good. I'm okay with anybody that's actually good because we are football fans. We want to see good football. But what has been happening as people like Lamar Jackson, Shedeur Sanders, Tyrod Taylor, Geno Smith, Warren Moon, Doug Williams, Vince Young, Daunte Culpepper, CJ Stroud, Caleb Williams all get torn down and held back and defamed and told you're not inferior enough. Your white counterparts are more inferior than you, are more superior to you. Anything to keep these elite QBs out the top spot. And they've been doing this so long that every black QB in the league is elite. I'm still waiting on y'all to tell me one of them that wasn't good. We can continue tomorrow. I can ask at lunch, did y'all come up with a black quarterback that wasn't good in the NFL? No, you did not. And if so, they put him there. And I can go find proof. Believe me. So this was good, guys. We're doing Terrell Pryor next. That's who's next. Terrell Pryor's up next. I sure hope y'all enjoyed Daunte Culpepper. I hate his career was cut short, but you never know. It could have saved him from CTE or something. I don't know. Everything happened for a reason. Steve Young took a beating as a dual threat. Oh, okay. Akil Smith. Okay. Okay, thank you. Charlotte, maybe you could get Akil Smith. Russell Wilson was a problem to that coach, Sean Payton. Yep. I think that collusion case had been underway by then too. John Kidd. I'm talking about Archie Manning, Peyton dad. Oh, okay. Okay. Crowley said, have a good night. Thank y'all, everybody. Terrell Pryor was drafted in 2019. Thank you so much. Jason Campbell, Redskins. Okay, thank you. Let Russ cook. Oh, I agree. I agree. Let Russ cook. And that's probably gonna happen anyway, because it happened in Philadelphia. Pittsburgh. So all right, y'all. We're gonna say goodnight. 1 hour and 15 minutes. This was fun. This was excellent. It was informative. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Terrell Pryor up next. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. We'll be back tomorrow with the lunch and stream at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.